All right, we got just a few minutes here to take your closing arguments on primary day. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. And let's go right to the phones where you can call in live at 217-629-7970. So let's rack them up here. We got 5 minutes. Good morning. Your closing arguments on this primary day as a voter. Good morning.
Good morning, Greg.
Hey.
My closing argument's this. Our state and our country need change. The policies of the last 18 months, you see it at the gas pump, the grocery store, it's not good. Get out there and vote for the candidates that you think will bring about change, and if you don't vote, you've got no business complaining about the government you get.
You know, I hear that argument a lot, and I push back on it just because, listen, everybody pays taxes. So I understand where you're coming from, and as far as, if you don't vote, you don't get a chance to complain, but everybody's paying taxes. I appreciate that. 217-629-7970. That is the phone number here. We've got about 3 minutes, so you can get your closing arguments in. Again, 217-629-7970. You can also email bishoponair@gmail.com. We heard earlier some of the various issues that people were talking about at the Trump rally Saturday. It included the economy. It included abortion. It included gun rights. It included even election security and the border. You're hearing that horrible story about what's going on at the border right now with that truck filled with dozens of bodies dead. Just incredible. Good morning. Your closing arguments as a voter.
I would have to say I disagreed with your previous interview about endorsements. There are certain endorsements that actually matter to me. Like, I'm a farm kid, so when the Farm Bureau gives a high rating to somebody, like especially like the Mary Miller, Rodney Davis, primary, Rodney Davis is always on the House Ag Committee. He gets a high rating from the Farm Bureau. As a farm kid, that means a lot to me to have somebody from Illinois on the Ag Committee. And plus, especially with the January 6th committee hearings coming out, just anybody that still is excited to get endorsed by Trump, I just say run fast and run far.
All right, got you down. Closing arguments, your phone calls, 217-629-7970. Good morning.
Good morning. I just want to say I've been feeling blue for a long time because we are a blue state. So I'm saying we need to turn it over and vote red. Turn this economy around, turn this state around, and get on track.
All right, taking your closing statements here. We've got about 2.5 minutes. 217-629-7970. That's the phone number again, 217-629-7970. Over the weekend, you had a lot of people taking the streets in major cities across the country talking about access to abortion. So that seems to be a major issue for Democrats who are going to be heading to the polls today and in November. So you've got a myriad of things that people are thinking about as they head to the polls. Would love to hear your closing arguments here as a voter. Again, 217-629-7970. About a minute and a half if you want to chime in. You can also email bishoponair@gmail.com, or you can find me on Twitter and message us that way. Let's see here if anybody's sounding off on Facebook. One listener says, all these politicians talk about property taxes. Do you know what my property taxes get raised every year? So for the past 20 years, nobody has done anything but talk. So interesting. I don't know if that individual is going to be a primary voter or not, but property taxes obviously on their minds. Feel free to reach out anytime throughout the day, and don't forget about the primary election underway, and the Attorney General, Kwame Raoul, putting out a message saying that they will be monitoring the elections. And I want to be sure that if you see any shenanigans, you can reach out to local officials and let them know, and they will do investigations. So be mindful of that. But really, listen, I know some people don't like voting in Illinois' primaries because your name gets put on a list, and maybe you don't want to be on a list as either voting Republican or Democrat. So maybe we have to have a conversation at some point tomorrow or here in the near future about is it time to change the primary process in the state of Illinois that freezes out any kind kind of independent candidates and gives a long runway to the established party for months on end to be able to have their messages free media, while like Libertarians, Green Party, Communist Party, Independent Party, whatever it may be, they have a handful of weeks to get their message out free via the media, if the media will even give them a voice. So something to ponder, all right? And we'll be back with more tomorrow and break everything down for you, plus the council roundup and more. And it's right now 9 o'clock on WMA.